the mindset. Ay, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Ay, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Ay, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe, I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say, if you ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Yeah, got no time to waste, can't be with me if you not at my pace. You not at my level, you not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. You dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. Get it, don't mindset. I gotta get it, don't mindset. I gotta get it, don't mindset.
Under the shadow of the Gateway Arch lies the Worldwide Technology Raceway, the world's longest short track. We're ready though with 3 races to go on a Monday night as we reach our championship zenith in your 2022 Season 1 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. Hello everyone and welcome back to RaceSpotTV. Delighted to have your company wherever you are around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, joined as always by Lorenzo Bonder in the RaceSpotTV commentary booth. And Lorenzo, I mean, we've landed here for what is going to be an exciting race. Just a couple of races to go, but most crucially, Adam Blocker is not on site today. The road is wide open for a new championship hopeful to spring forward and try and claim some very valuable championship points.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We covered this Season 3 in the 2021 season, 15 laps in the 140 laps we saw in Season 3. It's going to be also a very dividing race of sorts because the track is scorching hot with 44 degrees outside. So I think strategies in keeping that car on track and avoiding the dirty air is going to be really important.
You did mention it there, the track temperatures are rather intense, and that's just a little bit of an understatement. Usually when you race at Gateway, you race under the night lights. That's not the case today. We are very much racing in the heat of the day here in our virtual Illinois. Here's a look then at how the standings are shaking up. Adam Blocker, like I said, he's in Sebring. He is testing with the real world. We'll be at Sebring 7 days from now, but at least for now, all focus is on the oval. Adam Blocker leads by almost 150 points from Alexander Van der Sant, Robert Malechka in third, Brian Carey in fourth. It's no longer a power slide 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You do have Rashad Craig there to break up the party. Watch out for Will Lyon, who seems to be getting faster and faster on the ovals when, now part of the Indy Alliance program. It'll be fascinating to see what he can do. And Andrew Marquez, last time we did see him rather impressive at Watkins Glen. Not the easiest of races, but of course think back to Richmond. The last time we went short track racing when he did put it on pole position. Qualifying is coming to a close. Lorenzo, let's very quickly talk though about the strategy for today, because we were discussing just before we went live, it's a slightly shorter race than when we first came here. But of course, like you mentioned, the fact that we are racing here in the middle of the summer, in effect, the heat of the day, almost 2 p.m., we've got 45 degrees track temperature. That is scorching for the tires.
That is scorching for the tires, especially the front right. That thing will be burning maybe by lap 10 or 12, which you need to set the car properly. I think you're going to have to do a lot of in-car adjustments, getting that weight jacker, that anti-roll bar going on so you can get your positioning on the track as best as you can possibly get. Because positioning in this track, I think more in the nighttime is going to be really important.
Yeah, I think this is one race where you really expect the unexpected. But with that said, qualifying has drawn to a close. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid for what is going to be a fascinating 125-lap race here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's time to get underway for round 10 of our iRacing IndyCar Open Championship. Marco Brazil puts it on pole position for the Indy Alliance program with a 24.851. Andrew Marquez carries forward a good speed that he showed at Richmond, but what can he do now with some dirty air? He'll line up on the outside of the front row with Hugo Olsen and Tommy Donahue, row number 2. Aaron McQuarrie and JT Lichler share row number 6, while down in 7th spot it will be Matt Hollabo for the All-American iRacers. Robert Malechka, lots of work for him to do, almost a quarter of a second off the pace, back in 8th spot. Oren Laskin and Scott Relia line up on the edge of the top 10 with Dylan Gill and Oren Laskin. That seems to be a bug. Surely there can't be two drivers with the same name. Yes, no, this does appear to be a bug, so we will get the correct grid to you in just a couple of moments' time. That's the beauties of live broadcasting. It doesn't always work out the way that you expect it to do. And we'll grab the look at the starting grid right now, if it will pop up. There we go, and well, that doesn't seem to be right either, does it? Oh, we're having all sorts of fun here. The beauties of live broadcasting. I tell you what, we will run you through the grid then in just a couple of minutes' time. But at least for now, let's focus on what is about to happen on track here, Lorenzo. Plenty of fun, plenty of excitement, and trying to find clean air is going to be key.
It's going to be key, especially in the first few laps where the things are going to get very, very hectic. If this was nighttime, maybe this would have been much easier for us to take a look at it and try to break down, because you can get so much run on the second half of the stint. But this hot track, I think, is going to break things more than we normally would like to see. But it's going to be, I think, more of a strategy battle when coming to the pit lane and a survival race of sorts.
Let's quickly run you through the starting grid then. Nathan Rees and Andrew Marquez, row 1, with Aaron McQuarrie and Kazuhiro Shiba on row number 2. Rashad Craig and Robert Malechka line up alongside one another in row 3, while Will Lyon and Matt Hollabo share row 4. Alexander Van der Sant 9th with Isaac Snyder 10th. Michael O'Brien 11th, Oren Laskin 12th, Seb Alexander, David Porcelli, Robin Glennox through the top 15 with Laura Gerhardt, J.W. Miller, Tommy Donahue, Jason Waller, and Pablo Rangel completing the top 20. Olivier Simoneau, Camille Caton, Dennis Plyer, Scott Rylar, and Christian Macarelli, the 25 cars, we've got in store for you today. 125 laps here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. We've only got a single split. That usually means things are going to be hectic. Things are going to be crazy. Let's turn up the excitement. Let's get those engines ready to roar. We're ready to race in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Nathan Rees on pole position, 125 laps. Let's go racing in the iRacing IndyCar Open Championship. Nice clean start from all 25 cars. Each end of this raceway very, very different, so it's about adapting to the different changes around you. Malechka's got a great launch. He's already up into third position. Other than that, though, it looks like safely through lap number 1, we're underway.
Yeah, we're underway. What a jump from Malechka at the line. Basically got the perfect launch, going from 6th into 4th place in one corner, then into 3rd place in the second set of corners. So it's amazing to see your teammate from Powersline Motorsports getting the early start going on. And we know Malechka improving every single season as he goes on and legitimately becoming a threat, not only in long oval, but short ovals as well.
And getting the speed on the road courses too. He's got past Andrew Marquez, but at least for now, Marquez had a look, has to fall back into line. 2 laps done, and very nice clean start. Interesting to know, Alexander Van der Sat not able to make any headway, but he's looking to the inside of Will Lyon as they sweep their way into turn 3. Don't want to touch the curbing on the inside. That will unsettle the car. Usually the outside line gives you the momentum. They're side by side across the line, and Will Lyon has that draft. Should hold on to that position.
Should hold to that position for now. But the thing is, I think because of the time that we are on right now, it makes it a little bit more complicated for you to overtake. Normally the preferred line when you go into turn number 1 would be the line 1 to 2, which would be the middle-low line. The low-middle line, and then transition to a high line. 3 and 4, I think, is going to be where it gets more interesting. High line, I think, is going to be a must for conserving tires. But I think for optimal tires, you might have to take the down line maybe into the first few laps.
Matt Hollebug loses a position to Will Lyon. Might now get swarmed as Van der Sat closes in on him as well. Oh, and in the background, that's a crash. That's a big one, and it will bring out the first caution of the day. 4 laps in the books, and it's a 3-car pileup. It involved Pablo Rangel, Tommy Donahue, and I'm not sure, Camille Caton might have retired by herself in a separate incident. Let's go ahead then and turn our attention backwards to the RaceSpotTV replay machine. Let's pick up what happens here. They're working their way through turns 3 and 4. And, Tommy Donahue just gets a big old tank slapper going. Car spins around on him. Paolo Rangel gets mixed up in that one. There was nothing really that he could do. Christian Maccarelli does a very good job to lock that car down and get through the scene of the accident.
Yeah, good avoidance from Macrelli as we see Rangel. Now, this from Macrelli's point of view, just braking. Okay, come to a full stop. See the 2 guys trying to sort themselves around on the track. No major time loss for the number 5 car on this.
Oh, Malechka.
And,
Malechka's got the lead. We missed that as well. I think that was just as the yellow flag was going to come out. But, well, he's now got clean air, and I would not be shocked to see Robert Malechka running away with this race. But we slow things down. We might get a couple of pit stops. Maccarelli's coming in. And like you were saying, it was a very, very good job from Maccarelli to get that car stopped in time.
Yeah, really good job, especially on a very tricky corner, and especially down the line, because what happens, the back end of this car tends to be a little bit more live around the corners when you are a little bit with the tires going on, the wear of the car goes down. So you have to be basically very careful how you get out of the corner. So you can transition from 3rd to 4th gear as safely as possible and avoid that wall, because if you kick that wall a little bit, that is enough for you to get side pod damage, and also your engine power goes down a little bit.
One thing that we should also note when it comes to these shorter ovals, Lorenzo, is the fact that, we're talking about this new aero package. I say new, it's not really that new, because we've got, you used to run double planes at a lot of these short ovals, but now across the board it is single plane front aero. A little bit less in terms of the grip that you're going to have. Does mean that you're going to have to watch and conserve the tires a little bit more, but it's a little bit of an extra challenge. It's what we love about IndyCar.
Yeah, I think the transition to single play makes things more interesting, and how you get the car properly set up for tracks like this, because you are very reliable on. I would say you can compromise yourself for a long stint and try to go for the first very good stint would be a short. Then you kind of would struggle to the middle of the second half. But this track is for me long run, long run, long run. You have to conserve the tires every single lap, and then whenever you have that grip, you can go and power it out as much as you can.
I think Robert Malechka has jumped into our YouTube chat just to say hello. Seems a little bit bored behind the pace car. Now, with 25 cars, one thing to remember is we are going to get a decent amount of traffic at some point. Assuming we get a green flag run, things will stretch out. We know how important clean air is going to be. It's only a mile and a quarter. We will see traffic play a major factor, and even if you're the leader, you enjoy clean air for, maybe 10, 15, 20 laps. As soon as you hit the lap traffic, it's going to be constant. And from there, we may see the cars that have better the cars that work better in traffic be able to carve through the traffic a little bit more. That was a lot of traffic there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. On the previous season, on season 3, actually, that I commentated on with Andrew Kinsella, is that we only had 16 cars was during the nighttime, so you didn't have a lot of traffic. But the traffic that played out for Blocker, Crane, and Kraus when they were fighting for the top 3 was actually very, very intricate and affected quite a lot Blocker in some of the laps. He lost about a second and a half, nearly brought Crane and Kraus to the forefront to a top 3 battle. Not a top 3, but a 3-way battle for the lead in the final laps. But Crane and Kraus just decided to go at it, and thus Blocker managed to break away, and with 2 to go, thus getting the win.
Adam Blocker, something that we'll talk about it a little bit more later. Did you know that Adam Blocker is now racing with Pearson's in their LMP2 program, Lorenzo?
I do.
Well, that's going to be fascinating to see exactly how it goes. He ran in the 24 Hours of Daytona. They only got split 2, but they just went and won split number 2. Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll see if maybe he does a couple of SEO races as well, the Sports Car Open Endurance Series races with two races left? 2 6-hour races, I think that's right. Pace car is back off. We burned about 4 laps under the caution, so that's one thing to note. They are very long caution periods, but Robert Malechka is at the front. He hits the green flag. We're racing once more, single file. Come down in towards turn number 1. There is 11 degrees of banking here. Malechka is already 7/10 clear. Nice little start from Malechka back in the pack. This is David Porcelli. Great to see him diving down onto the ovals as well. Very much more of a road racer, but this is what we love about IndyCar. Encourages people to try new things. He's fending off Oren Laskin. Up front, Matt Holliber trying to get the move done on Alexander Van der Sat. 1 second clear, though. Robert Malechka has timed that restart to perfection.
Down to perfection. Nathan Rees cannot do anything to get closer. He's trying, but the SCOWRS driver just doesn't have anything, I think, on the car to try to get closer, or is conserving the tires for that long run that we mentioned.
That's Camille Caton in the 21, but because that's down to the inside, even though that front left is, well, not happy, I think we may stay green. Here come the leaders, though, powering on through. On the back straightaway, Caton's going to go another lap down. Pull that car back down onto pit road. We're cleanly through, though. Stay under green flag conditions. That is what we love to see. 22nd place, though, is already about 14 seconds back from your leader. So that traffic that we were mentioning is not far from being a reality. Will Lyon going on the charge. Rashad Craig in his sights.
Yeah, Rashad Craig needs to do something to try to fend off Will Lyon. And you were mentioning Will Lyon is... he's insane this season. I had the pleasure. I've raced against him on a few splits on Mid-Ohio, and then I think a few fixed splits. And his pace is just like Robert Malechka. I was saying his improvement has been gigantic, but I think Will Lyon might be even bigger. He's doing such a great job, and now being part of the Indy Alliance, he got basically a really good team with really good oval specialists like Jasper Orman to try to improve him and try to get into the top spot, and maybe in the near future.
Maybe we'll see Will Lyon in the iRacing Indy 500. Not far away from starting to think about that. Malechka, while we watch this battle for, about second on back if we're being completely honest, because Nathan Rees has been passed by Andrew Marquez and now has a trolley train forming.
Had a problem.
Yep, so, and that's going to be a yellow flag. All the hard work that we saw from Malechka's going to stop, and that is Seb Alexander straight back to pit lane. Let's go ahead and first take a look at what happened to Camille Caton coming in through turns 1 and 2. Just loops the car around and bonks the left side tire after the spin as coming up the track that yellow and black car ran. Oof. Yeah, that's a thing that we'll see, I'm sure, on a couple more occasions. Here's a look at what happened to Seb Alexander then, Lorenzo.
Yeah, just I think went in too deep into turn number 1. Thought he was actually going to hit the car, maybe, or the car was out of control into the entry of turn number 1. That was a little bit of weird one to watch.
Here's a look from up above. I think he just forgot that you can't commit at the same speeds as you can on a super speedway, and because he stops on the outside of the track, that is what brings out the caution. We saw, for example, with Camille Caton that if you stop on the inside, you will find yourself being able to avoid the caution coming out, but we have split strategies. Robert Malechka is down on pit lane. He's followed in by Alexander Van der Sant, Matt Holliber, Michael O'Brien, Robin Glennox, Laura Gerhard, J.W. Miller, and a couple of other cars. But the interesting call to come in this early with this much lap traffic. Remember, we're 17 laps into the race, but only about 12 of them, maybe a little bit less, have actually been at full racing chat.
Yeah, which for me is a little bit interesting, but not whole surprising given the state of the track that we are right now. It's 44 degrees. We showed that on the early portions of the broadcast. So I think the effect that it has on the tires, especially on the grip during the first half of their stints, might be a little bit more than they anticipated. So more scrubby than usual, therefore get some new grip. But I think there's where it becomes more interesting to watch, Arjuna, because now you have basically half of the field without any pit stops or did some pit stops early on, and you basically now have the guys in the bottom of the race that hasn't done any pit stop, that have just done the pit stop, excuse me. And this grip difference is going to be very interesting to know and notice how they're going to contend with that on the early on the restart.
So let's quickly talk you through how it looks in terms of those who have pitted. You can see on the left side the pit stop time. So the top 12 have not pitted. Now, we have Dennis Plyer and Scott Relia coming into the pit, so that's why I was a bit confused, because they actually have pitted already in this race. They will cycle back to the tail end of the lead lap. So now only 9 are out there having not pitted. It leaves Malechka, the first car, having pitted. Van der Sant, Holliber, and a couple of others up there in the mix that we'd expect to maybe just work their way up through the field. Gateway is always fun, and I think Rob was right. These are going to be really, really long cautions, Lorenzo, because the amount of time it takes to get the cycle done is what's ticking the laps by. It's not like Daytona, for example, where, you know, a caution lap there is 90-plus odd seconds. This is just the virtue of, well, even having said that, the caution laps here are almost 90 seconds long. But it's the fact that you have to do almost 4 of them every time the caution comes out.
Yeah, and if you accrue that, it becomes a little bit of a hassle of sorts, and it basically throws your strategies out in the bin. So it's a little bit of a nuisance for them. I think that they probably have so many strategies going on in this race, and now have to be relegated for nearly 3 minutes and a half before going to another restart, and then see when the next restart will come.
Just a reminder as well, follow along with live timing and scoring, powered by our partners at Timing 71. Go to racespot.wtf/Indy, Timing 71, your home for the best in real and virtual motorsports. Take a look at that beautiful aerial shot. You see the karting track inside the facility. Looks like a little bit of a hoot, if I'm being completely honest, but got our own little roller coaster to deal with here. In terms now of Malechka, let's talk about him, let's talk about Van der Sant, let's talk about those cars that have taken tires. How aggressive do you decide to go, Lorenzo?
Very, very aggressive. We really don't want to be held back by traffic that has worse tires on paper early on.
Well, we're about to find out. Second caution before we even hit 20 laps into this slightly shortened race compared to the last time The iRacing IndyCar Open Series came to the Worldwide Technology Raceway. 125 laps on the docket, much warmer temperatures than usually you'd see. And compared to the previous short ovals that we've had this season, this has already been the most chaotic field one. Marquez at the front. Marquez gets us back underway, and that was a terrible start from Rashad Craig, who was bottled up the entirety of the field behind him. Will Lyon, Isaac Snyder, and David Porcelli and Oren Laskin have not come down to pit. Robert Malechka had to wait because Rashad Craig did what he's meant to do. He stood on the outside of the track, made sure that no one could pass him before the start-finish line, but now 0.6 of a second separates 4th and 5th positions.
Yeah, and basically caught Rashad sleeping. It happens from time to time. Those restarts are tricky around the track, and how do you defend yourself from a howl of cars that are angry looking on you this early on? As Malechka is going to do the first move, he's going to move on to Oren Laskin, goes for the first spot. Van der Sens follows suit.
That almost looked like bunt drafting. We've seen plenty of bunt drafting from cars that you would not expect to do it, even yesterday in the... yesterday? Yes, it was. Yesterday in the 24-hour esports series when they went to Monza, we saw bump drafting, not just from TCRs, but GT3 cars as well. Not always what you expect. So Malechka and Van der Sens picked off 1. Hollowbo's now bottled up 0.8 back from that number 25 blue and red Oren Laskin car. Up front, Nathan Rees has been split up very slightly from Marquez. Remember, Marquez put it on pole 2 races ago at the Richmond Raceway, and led until the one and only caution that we had when Adam Blocker said, no, I'm taking another win this season, and stormed his way past on the restart, and from there did not look back. We've got another Scores car in the top 3 in the form of Aaron McQuarrie, in that all-orange machine, as we start to get a little bit settled into the rhythm here. Hopefully we get a nice green flag run, Lorenzo.
Yeah, let's hope, because I think this green flag strategy, I think it can open up so many options during a green flag stop, and the Gateway is one of those tracks that if you go green flag all the way, you can have so many undercut, overcut strategies to try to play yourself moving forward. And from what I expected, they might be going under the circumstances, those that have pitted before, going maybe on lap 70 or something like that to try to go for the pit stop and then go all the way down to the finish.
In towards turn 3. The orange 11 car looking low as they close bit by bit just behind him. Yellow flag back out, and I think it's Michael O'Brien. Oh, and that's a hard contact for the Oceania native, as he'll bring out now the 3rd caution of the day. Really a stop and start, very mentally taxing on the drivers. Let's see if it was potentially an issue with Robin Glenix behind. Glenix is going to dive down, and we know that Australians have a colorful vocabulary when they feel the need. I have no doubt that's possibly what's going on now. Right on board with Glenix, the Michigan native, who 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And Glenix goes low. O'Brien's arcing into the corner. I'm not blaming O'Brien at all, but Glenix, I think, just expected the room to be given there.
Yeah, I think so as well, or I think he misjudged the entry and thought I might have the inside going in, and he might have the speed to try to match maybe at the first leg of turn number 3. But that was a little bit unfortunate. I know Rob already said on voice chat that he would look at the incident going on, but they kind of reset the strategies, because those who haven't pitted right now, some of them coming into the pit lane.
So here we go. Marquez, I think, will stay out. It's hard to... You see the car slowing down. They don't want to get any sort of penalties for passing the cars just yet. Marquez comes in, followed by Reese McQuarrie. Who's staying out? Kazuhiro Shiba, Rashad Craig, Will Lyon, and Isaac Snyder will stay out. So 4 cars might just be thinking that we're going to get enough chaos here, Lorenzo, that they can one-stop this race.
Can they, though? I don't think they can.
Well, if we get enough cautions, never say never, right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember. If this was fixed, you could no stop. That happened in Richmond. But this is different. The Open has more laps, so it would take a inhuman amount of yellow flags.
It
For them to come to the pit stop.
basically, who was it in the Lionheart Retro Series? It was David.
Vandersand?
No, that's Speedway. I'm talking about Retro. It was David
Oh.
Rodriguez at Iowa, if I'm remembering correctly, where he's still under investigation for a magic fuel growing tree that somehow sprouted up in his Lotus 79.
Wow. That is the first one. I just know of Vandersand's, I think it was Kentucky, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
That just decided to magically do 71 laps, and no big deal to get the win. I do believe that was the win that kind of brought me to Power Slide, of course, his pace, and Skolon also did the job as well, Arjuna, but I think that was the most insane fuel-saving race I've ever probably seen in iRacing in quite a while.
Been plenty of chaotic races, and do remember we're only about 2 weeks away from Lionheart competition kicking off once more. We'll head once more to the Homestead Miami Speedway for the traditional season opener. The IndyCar Series is on March the 2nd. The Lionheart Retro Series the very next day on Thursday, March the 3rd. And also do keep in mind that we've got a new commentator joining us for the Lionheart Retro Series, DJ Clark, who took a podium a year ago at the Homestead Miami Speedway in the Lionheart Retro Series. Let's not talk about the rest of the season. Let's focus just on that one and only race. Will be part of the broadcast team for the entirety of the season. And big ups to DJ Clark as well, who'll be doing some real-world commentary in SRO Americas this coming year. So hear him around the US for things to happen. And this is what we were saying earlier about the length of these cautions, Lorenzo. It feels like we've already spent probably about 16 odd laps under caution here.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? As the pace car is probably going to turn their lights off as we're going to go for the restart on this lap. It is the race is so chill right now. The drivers in the voice chat are basically just having normal banters.
Question in our YouTube chat: where is the King of the Bricks? And I know that was a typo.
15G.
Yeah, I know that was a typo, but it does feel as though i5G just wins all the races at Indianapolis. I'm gonna fire shots here. They're too scared. They're too scared to come and race on a Monday night, apparently. I did try and convince Zach Campbell to come and race, even if it wasn't his alt account. But apparently there's this thing called the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup that's just a little bit more important.
Yeah, the last time I think I saw an i5G driver, I think I collided with him at Spa.
That wasn't your fault. That was the King of the Bricks, wasn't it?
Treno already apologized and knew that was his fault.
We won't blame Treno too much, but Treno's going to be starting his season as pit member in both the Xfinity and the Truck Series coming up. Long hold from Kazuhiro Shiba here, and underway once more. Third caution comes to a close at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Vandersand had to check up. Bit of separation forming because of that restart. Remember, 4 cars yet to have come down to pit lane. We've had 3 cautions, plenty of chaos. Will it continue?
Oh, Maletzka going for the threading of the needle on the outside. Can he make the move work with that launch early on Isaac Snyder? The door will shut quickly, though, but I think he might have the comeback right here.
Up and under from Malechka in the red and white. Will back out of that one on Isaac Snyder, and he's just going to use the banking to try and get off the corner with a little bit more momentum. At least for now, though, we are seeing a bit of a breakaway. The top 6 split by 1.5 seconds. Then you've got a almost 1 second deficit back to Matt Holloway. But look at the Hornet's Nest. Down in towards turn 3 they come. I'm not sure what happened there. I wonder if David Porcelli and Nathan Reese had a little bit of a moment. Porcelli's car not looking good. Was that Robin Glennings that got all sorts of out of shape? Yes, it was.
Looks like
it. This is craziness.
This is craziness early on in that car. Who's up in front? Looks like Laura Gerhardt's car on the outside, looking a little bit wobbly as well. Going to turn number 1 and 2. Calm down, boys. There's still more than 2/3 of a race going on to do.
Yep, there's still a long way
And
to...
girls. I forgot Laura and
Yep.
Camille. So, sorry, boys and girls.
And we were meant to have Alexis Newsom, but she had a technical issue joining up. Remember, there was an update today as we get set for the new series of the new season, I should say, of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series to kick off tomorrow from the high banks of Daytona. Aaron McQuarrie trying to get a move done on Olivier Simoneau. This is for the battle for 10th. Up front, Rashad Craig has powered his way into the race lead, getting past Kazuhiro Shiba. My word, those first 3 restarts really did slow things down, but they have ratcheted up the intensity since then.
Yeah, it has picked up the intensity, and I think furthermore, more importantly than anything else, Malechka on this restart hasn't moved a single...
Yellow.
Yep, here we go.
And that is Camille Caton once more, who's... Whoa, that's another significant hit for the number 21 machine. So that's now 4 caution interventions in our race, and we're not even at lap 40. Here's a look at what happens once more, just through turns 1 and 2. That's deja vu. This time it does look as though the impact just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and that might be day done for Camille as she's out of the race and already disconnected from the server. Same incident as before, right?
Now, do we see these cars that haven't come down to pit lane pit?
If they don't pit, they're insane.
Lorenzo Bonder is now a psychiatrist or psychologist now, apparently.
Yeah, apparently Rashad Craig is the only one that listens to the voice of reason.
Now, you do have to pit on the access road. Kazuhiro Shiba, Isaac Snyder, Will Line, all staying out. Rashad Craig will cycle back to about an 18th place or so. So, on one hand, I do appreciate why the other cars did not come down, because they really are going to put them... By virtue of having come down to pit, Rashad Craig is going to be right in the thick of the action.
Yeah, I wonder how many places he will lose. I would say that would put Rashad, I would imagine, right about P14 or P16 once he comes out of the pit lane. He would be right in the middle of the action, but the problem is the gap that you have on tires from those guys that are right in the middle of the pack is down. It's equal. So he's gonna do some effort. He's gonna have to do some effort to try to move up a few spots.
Let's go back, and that's while we have this chance, let's talk about Adam Blocker and Pure Sims Esports, because, of course, Pure Sim, owned by, I think it's 3-time British touring car champion Ash Sutton. They've got a very strong rostrum across the different road things that they race. They've got the LMP2 squad. They've got the GT squad as well. We see a lot of them out in force on Monday nights here in RaceSpotTV in the World GT Championship. They've got the TCR guys as well. Of course, you know, if you've got Ash Sutton as your team owner, you're going to have touring cars in there somewhere. You see them on Thursdays in the World Touring Car Series. But I think on one hand, it's going to be interesting for Adam Blocker to now see how SEO and some of those other series operate, of course, because, you know, we know him as the King of Lionheart. We know that he's won, you know, Indy Elite. He's won these official championships before, but I think it's fair to say that just the level in something like an SEO, Lorenzo, we commentate in it, you know, regularly. It is just relentless, and when you have no safety cars in an endurance race, if you fall back, you're always in trouble. And, you know, for example, private label Team Hype, we know how quick Phil Krause can be in an IndyCar. It's not like they're lighting up the world. They're going to hate me for saying this. They're not lighting up the world in SEO. They've had their struggles.
Not only struggles they had, they are massive struggles. Not only him. For me, the more surprising thing is not only Krause, it's Chin and Tommy Milner, of all guys. Like, a real-life driver, works driver for Chevrolet, that drove the Corvette around Daytona in the Daytona 24. They're not being able to get the best results the entire season. But the thing is, Pure Sims is not doing that well either. If you are looking at SEO, right? They've been marred with penalties and incidents and crashes. So having a fresh guy that have been practicing with the team for quite a while now might give him something else of an edge. I don't know how well and used is Adam with the LMP2s. I know he drove at the Daytona 24 for Power Slide.
No,
but,
for Pure Sims. He did the Daytona with Pure Sims.
Oh, he did for Pure Sims.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought he did the Daytona 24 for Power Slide, because I know Power Slide had a car in,
I didn't realize Power Slide had the I rating to get into second split.
Because I saw them, I think, on split 3 or 4 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So I was like, maybe Adam is in there as well. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's a natural thing for after so many times doing practice with them, naturally joining their ranks.
I'm gonna get in trouble not just with team talent, but now with my own teammates at Power Slide.
Maybe.
It's all right. It happens. So I think we've got at least one more lap under pacing here. Now remember, 4 cautions already. Oh no, pace car's off. We're ready to go racing. We've already had 4 cautions. Can we get through? A green flag run, some green flag pit stops. It's another long old hold. But away we go. Will Lyon feeling the pressure from Malechka straight away as in towards turn 1 they go. And Malechka with the slightly fresher tires powers to the outside and rips away 3rd spot from Will Lyon.
That was insane. I thought Malechka was going to make the move before the start of the finish line, going for the outside move, because he was looking feisty for that overtake, and Will defended it. He had the opportunity to defend it, but the tire difference right now is just way too major for Will to fend off, as now Vandersteen is going to be on the inside and possibly making that move.
Malechka's doing the nice thing for the teammate, giving a bit of draft on the entry into the corner. We're also looking slightly further back in the field. We're waiting to see if there's going to be any more chaos, any more carnage. David Porcelli sits in 10th position. In front, though, and fighting for second, Isaac Snyder can do nothing but watch as Robert Malechka runs himself up into second. Will Lyon will get on past the RSR driver in the Lionheart Retro Series. Here comes Van der Sande as well to mug the number 19 machine. Will Lyon has done a good job to fend off Van der Sande for now. 1.5 seconds clear, though. Kazuhiro Shiba is going to have to start looking in his mirrors.
Yeah, he has to start looking into his mirrors anytime soon. Maybe I would say 2 to 3 laps, Arjuna. I wouldn't be surprised until Malechka gets within the drafting range out of the Japanese driver. Then everything's going to kick off once again for the lead. In the meanwhile, further back, there's Paul, of course, and the LR Gerhardt with J.W. Miller, and then Robin Glennox right in front. Looks like interesting as well.
Looks as though Isaac Snyder's now fallen back behind Matt Hollabo, and Andrew Marquez in the Alcantech NHR machine will come to the inside and almost runs himself up the track, but Snyder will back out of that, and at least for now, we'll have to concede. Remember, we've had 4 cautions already. We started with 25. We're down to 22. Although only 20 of those cars are still on the lead lap. Let's look at the track map as well. The 8 machine of Kazuhiro Shiba is working his way down the back straightaway. The first bit of lap traffic is Tommy Donahue, who's midway through turns 3 and 4. Then there's a gaggle of cars that are diving their way in towards turn number 1. There is plenty of traffic forthcoming if we can stay green. Malechka's pulling forward bit by bit. Nathan Rees and David Porcelli side by side. Porcelli trying to get his way up to 9th.
Yeah, Porcelli trying to move up a little bit, but trying to look on the inside. He's going to get the run to the outside, but he's going to have to lift off the gas a little bit, because otherwise he would have ran into Nathan Rees, and that brings Rashad Craig into the inside, and now the number 7 will make the move.
Rashad Craig on the fresh tires. Oh! And yellow's back out. Isaac Snyder has lost it, I think, by himself.
Yeah, insane crash.
That's a lot of damage, you're right. Hard impact, I would think. Let's go ahead and take a look. So I think he's now being passed by Aaron McCrory. I saw a dash of orange, and what did I say? You cannot get onto the curbs on the inside And the number 19 machine finds out exactly why. Watch on board here. Looks okay, looks fine. And then as soon as he gets onto the curb, the car is unsettled. And into the wall hard goes the 19.
Yeah, try to overcommit over there a little bit, unfortunately. Let's look what happened to the move of Rashad Craig and see them coming right into the fray of that crash. You can see Snyder just spinning right on top of him, and I wouldn't say narrowly avoid it because they had a little bit of room, but that was a little bit insane to watch from their perspective.
So does Kazuhiro Shiba come down now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Will Line does. Okay, Kazuhiro Shiba, I don't see him in front of Malechka, so there should be 2 cars pitting. Now, hypothetically, you might be able to make it to the end from here. The question would be, do you really want to?
I wouldn't say yes. You can risk it. That's racing. We went motor racing, Arjuna, so if you want to go for it, go for it. But if you get into the last place just because your strategy has gone all right, don't blame us.
Blame Lorenzo.
Yeah, blame Lorenzo because he
Hashtag.
always gets the blame.
So, slow it down once more. That's 5 cautions, isn't it? 5 cautions?
Yep.
I'll just point out, since we are having to fill a lot under these lengthy cautions, RaceSpot merch coming soon to a website near you. Stay involved with us on social media, and you can pick yourself up a rather spiffy shirt, maybe a hoodie, maybe a flag, and we have some pins which are not going to be for sale, but maybe we'll do a giveaway. Maybe we will do a giveaway on a Monday night. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. I like me a good pin. I've got my VCO Pro Sim pin. I've got my BS Turner pin. Now I just need to add to it the RaceSpot pin, but I want an Esports Racing World Cup pin as well.
I want my race pop in. That's pretty much it. I don't care about the rest.
Shipping to Brazil. That'll be expensive.
Yeah, I'll pay it. Or you can basically take away from my salary.
Yeah, not happening.
Maybe
Maybe the smartest thing to do would be to wait till after May for you, Lorenzo, because Hugo's going to be in England and can pick some up for you.
I was gonna. Yeah, I remember something about that. True, but are they gonna be ready in May though?
Yes. Oh no, they should be ready by May.
Okay, fine point.
And for those who are aware, if you live in the UK, May the 14th, we're going to be having a RaceSpot Summit. It's going to be interesting, and it's the same weekend, the same day as the iRacing Fixed 500. So. Watch along as Will Vincent commentates on the iRacing Fixed 500 from our RaceSpotTV Summit. If you're in and around the Milton Keynes area, you'll be able to hopefully get involved. You know, restrictions permitting, and we'll have more information on that on our social media once we get a little bit more close. And you know, I'm talking a lot about social media, so let's bring it up. Make sure you follow us on across other platforms. Of course, sub to us on YouTube. Hit that red button, bell next to it, when you can get notified for everything that happens live here on RaceSpotTV. You got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. JP Justin Prince doing a great job of really enhancing.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to JP for enhancing our social media presence since the start of the year. Some great engagement coming forward.
Can we announce the third thing as well, or you announce the third thing? Would that be the fourth thing? Because we could the commentators race.
Let's not talk about it. But
not yet.
Yeah, no, not yet. Because remember, that's for commentators.
And that's for commentators, but we have to hype it up a little bit.
We'll hype it up by doing a NASCAR. No, a WWE style announcement video for it.
I like that.
It's time.
Restart.
Oh, we're going racing. Oh, I'm getting so into this little babble that we have going on. But yes, we are ready to restart. Lights are off on the pace car. 5th caution of the day. Remember, 125 laps. We're only 52 laps into it. No green flag pit stops. Will we see one? It's a power slide 1 and 2. Malechka has found his way back to the front. We're racing once more at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Bit of a stack up behind is Aaron Macquarie and Andrew Marquez, the scorer's teammates, duke it out on the entry in towards turn number 1. Rashad Craig looks to try and power around the outside. Slightly fresher rubber for him, and he's got the momentum. Marquez trying to feed a little bit of draft to Macquarie in that orange machine, but that's too little too late. Craig up to 5th.
Yeah, and I don't think that Macquarie is going to be appreciative because he went on voice chat and just told Andrew, go. And immediately right after Rashad Craig makes the move and goes into 5th place.
Wait, are you saying that he was telling Rob at the front to go?
No. Yeah, he was telling Andrew to go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because Andrew would call himself napping.
You confused me a little bit there. Here comes Will Lyon to the outside of J.W. Miller on the run down in towards turn number 3. Now, do remember that because of the different strategies that we have afoot, we do have a lot of changes going on in terms of where people are running. Not a great qualifying performance from the power slide duo, but Malechka and Van der Sant +5, +7. Matt Hollabo is also +5 as well. Olivier Simonneau +13. Biggest mover on the day as well. Biggest loser is Nathan Rees, who is -12 positions, but there's a long way to go. We have a car that's just reset to pit lane. That's Scott Relia. But we'll stay green. We'll stay racing. We've got a motor race going on. Here comes Andrew Marquez trying to get past Matt Hollabo.
Yeah, because Marquez was looking really good on that restart, even though Rashad Craig not far behind, you know. He's trying to come back and make those moves on both drivers. But Hollabo, usually not the best starter or the restarter, but he picks up the pace during the midway part of the race and eventually breaks away, as we see what happened to Scott Relia, looks like on turn number 1.
On the run into those 11 degrees of banking, what happens here is Marquez will shove a nose to the inside. Hollabo gives him space. Relia just runs up the track, and I think right side suspension damage to the steering arm, and then into the grass he goes as well. But here comes the momentum. And remember, Rashad Craig has got the freshest tires of everyone in the top 10 or so. So he's got the bit between his teeth. He is fighting to get back up to where he was running.
Yeah, I think there would be a little bit of a sense of desperation of sorts to try to get back into 3rd place. Not only the better grip, but the problem is Hollabo is doing a very solid job, you know, of defending his 3rd position so far. And if there's something that is your best friend here, is clean wind, basically a clean air. If you have clean air, you can defend pretty much for a good portion of this race. But the problem is, don't make mistakes, because it is very easy to make a mistake over here, and we've seen in multiple counts. Change your car up to a wall or to a grass and then crash it completely.
Absolutely. Top 2, the power slide duo, have really run away with the lead of this race. As the yellow is back out, we are back under caution. What has happened here? There's a big old puff of smoke on the back straightaway, and I think that is Tommy Donahue. And it is indeed. So 6th caution is out as we wind our way closer and closer to the halfway mark in this race. Let's pick up the all-seeing RaceSpotTV replay machine, and that was right in front of the leaders as well. Does a good job of at least spinning down to the inside, but what happens here? Maybe a bit too much weight jacker in the car, because that rear end just steps around on him.
Yeah, a little bit weird. Maybe weight jacker, just like everybody else, that we probably have seen issues going to the inside of turn number 1. But he's so far back. He's 4 laps back of the last spot.
Pit stops. I'm a little bit surprised, to be completely honest. 44 laps into the run for Malechka, Van der Sant, and Hollabo, but they are coming down on towards pit road. There you see the split strategies. Of course, we haven't seen... Oh, we saw Marquez come in the latest of this bunch, so not surprised that he isn't coming in. Very surprised that these drivers have elected to come down at this point in this race, Lorenzo.
Yeah, Malechka out. Marquez is outstanding his his stint a little bit more, which I'm surprised to see. But the majority, I would say, they're not relying basically for this race to be a one-stop from moving forward. maybe with a yellow flag and just stay at on track, or maybe get some rubber, because right now you can start playing with the margins a little bit of your fuel if you can start getting more yellow flags.
I don't think Malechka got into his box that optimally. I don't even know the right word for that. It looked like he was a little bit... suboptimally. That's a Lewis McLeod line there. It looked like he was a little bit right inside of his box, went a bit deep as well, but hasn't cost him. He does emerge in front of Alexander Van der Zandt. It's just 7 cars that are yet to have come down on towards pit lane. Marquez, Lyon, Sheba, Laskin, Macrelli, Pliar, and Wallet. Remember, we started with 25. We're down to 21 running, of whom 17 are still on the lead lap.
Yeah, just judging here, I think we're going to get the restart on lap 64 to 65, or 65 to 66. So that would make basically 60 laps around the on the field. That would have the, if you guys can basically consume, I would say, a liter and a 10 per lap average, or a 1.8. They would have to save basically 60 laps of fuel. That is doable around the track like this, but it would require some effort. Maybe going to mode 4, mode 3, or keep switching between 3 and 5 for you to make it to the end.
Yeah, good point, because you can play with the modes a lot in this car, and I have no doubt that they're using Mode 8 here under caution. The thing is, now I think back to what happened with the Richard Craig. Was it Richard Craig on one of the restarts where he just really didn't go? I wonder.
That was Marquez.
Marquez. I wonder if he left it in Mode 8.
I had a teammate that actually left in Mode 8 and in a league race, and I noted completely. That was on Richmond. He was going slower than everybody else by a whole second. I was like, he's in Mode 8, isn't he? So it is very possible. Some drivers, even on these top splits, do tend to forget that the car has 8 modes of fuel, and switching from Mode 8 to back to 1 or whatever other mode it needs to be done prior to the start of the finish line.
Yeah, well, ideally you do it before you even get into turn 3.
Yeah.
Because then there's no chance of you forgetting, right? Now do remember that the season coming up, we've got 2 races left. 7 days from now, we'll be at the Sebring International Raceway. We'll be racing the full configuration of that. The week after that, we go to the Tricky Triangle, which is always fun. We wrapped up, what was it, the 2021 Season 3 iRacing IndyCar Open Series there at the midway through last year. Great race that Jason Brophy, I think, went on to win. But we've got the new season coming up 2 weeks after that. Week 13 is the off week from iRacing, so it's always calms down. We'll start off at the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll then head to the Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Head to Phoenix and the short oval there, the streets of Long Beach to sync up with the real-world NTT IndyCar Series. The Auto Club Speedway, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, which I know Brandon Traynor is looking forward to building a setup there. Barber Motorsports Park, Milwaukee Mile, the Indy Road Course, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Indy Oval the week after the iRacing Indy 500, and then the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle. Plenty of excitement to come. Let's see if we can go green from here. Half the race is done, half to go. 6th caution comes to a close. Malechka looks to the inside to try and get past Orin Laskin. A little bit of a change in the running order because a couple of cars came down to pit late in the run. Malechka's going to try and sweep on by. That's Isaac Snyder, a lapped car, that's proving a bit of a bottleneck. Laskin has been passed. Here comes Van der Zandt as well.
Oh my God, look at the speed difference between Van der Zandt and Laskin going to turn number 1, turn number 3. I know Aaron is probably running Traino's Apex Academy setup that he normally tries to run in. Is a guy that is very keen on Indy cars. But doing very solidly so far, but losing several spots. Might lose another one to Matt Hollyball.
Evan Adams has done the math, so you can do 49 laps with about 3.31 gallons. I would assume, I don't even know, because it must be 3.31 miles per gallon. There's a reason we use liters per lap. It is much simpler to actually do the math unless you're at a track which is 1 mile or 2 miles in length. It defines it. divides equally. About 50 to 60 laps is fuel-saving window here. So hypothetically, if we do get a bunch of cautions, we could see Malechka and Van der Sant make it without stopping again. But I would suspect that everyone needs a stop, as now Laskin is going to slot his way down into 8th. Bit by bit, he's getting past. Question now will be for Malechka and for Van der Sant, do they have the rubber to be able to close on Andrew Marquez? You can see Will Line in the tire tracks of that number 2 machine. He is on tires that have only done 18 laps or so. Marquez is 40 laps into his stint. And of course, we've seen Malechka and Van der Sant just come down to pit lane.
Yeah, but the gap is spreading to 2.2. So Will Line is doing the job, you know. Malechka 25.8. I'm starting to think that he's saving fuel all the way to the end, because he probably knows that Will and Andrew are not going to make it to the end. So I think him and Van der Sant right now are on full fuel saving mode and are in there not even caring about those two in front.
Yeah, that gap has opened up to 2.5, 2.6 seconds at the line. It was a 25.2 for Marquez, 25.8 for Malechka. I do now wonder how aggressive is Matt Hollabo, Richard Craig behind going to be. Will they slot into line? Will they understand what is going on? The fuel-saving games are starting to be played, at least for now. That All-American iRacers green, white, and black car is being tentative. Richard Craig is having none of it, though.
Yeah, Craig out of those 4 is looking the racier of the bunch. Now Aaron McQuarrie now joins this 4-car pile-up to turn it into a 5-way battle for what would be the net leading podium of this race. And let's see if Craig can actually get that run into turn number 3 and fully commit, because the line looks it favors Hollabo on the exit of turn number 3 and 4.
I think Hollabo has the draft from Van der Sant, and there you go. Craig tucks back into line. Lap times have equalized just a little bit. Marquez last time by 25.467 compares to a 5.29 for Malechka. So it's still there, a bit of a gap. I just wonder, though, if now this is the fuel game. We know Malechka loves a good strategy. What does Power Slide Motorsports have cooking for us? Let's also very quickly talk about your track conditions once more, because we've raced now for an hour here in the virtual Madison, Illinois. Track temperature has come down, Lorenzo, from 49 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Not insignificant. Tires are going to hold up just a little bit more.
They're going to hold up a little bit more, but still very hot given the circumstances where they're racing, right? Because we know in real life they race it all night. It is a much cooler track, so you can push on for more laps. As a counterpart, though, I think there's one thing we haven't mentioned about the fuel itself. Because they're running all night, they cannot go for really long stints, right? Because they're running like this, I think they're on average about a second slower per lap than what they would be doing all night. So I think the fuel mileage, because you're last on the throttle, and the iRacing goes based on the throttle with the fuel calculations, they might be able to, you know, that fuel-saving strategy might become even more real than we probably have anticipated.
We'll wait and see. Marquez probably only maybe 20 laps at the most away from coming down on towards pit lane, so do watch out for him. We'll wait and see if anyone else is forced to do something different on board with Richard Craig once more, as he just looks for some clean air, puts it onto the front nose of the car. But here comes McQuarrie in the orange machine to the inside. Yellow flag is back out, though. Seb Alexander has had an issue, and once more slow things down. It was just getting interesting when it came to the strategy game. What's happened here to the green and black 16? Through turns 1 and 2 will be deja vu once more. Car gets light, rear end steps around on him, and the rear end of the car goes hard into the outside wall.
Yeah, and I think there were a few cars that were trying to come up on track. The first one I'm just trying to look was actually Andrew Marquez, the race leader, was on the inside whenever that Alexander was actually spun around and halfway across the track. So now that is basically a blessing in disguise for Will Lyon and Andrew Marquez right now.
It is. More of a blessing for Marquez. I think Lyon was probably in a decent position. I do think we'll see most cars onto pit lane from here, because you can definitely make it to the end. So we'll see Marquez, Lyon, followed in by everyone else. That one car that we saw coming out was Robin Glenix. or staying out, excuse me, was Robin Glennox, who is, 2 laps down, so he's going to get at least 1 of his laps back, and I think the other cars staying out there onto the track will also be the 3 or 4 cars that we do have.
This is big.
What?
Andrew Marquez has a black flag.
Oh, what's happened to Marquez? Now remember that you can see the flags being shown to the cars within iRacing now. It's a new feature. It is very, very useful. And Marquez is going to be held in pit lane. It's going to be a short stop for Malechka and Van der Zandt. Looks like fuel only for them. You say he's got a black flag. He's got an end-of-line penalty for likely an unsafe pit entry, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look because he didn't pass the pace car, but he joined very late. Looking at it again, I do believe he might be like a penalty for unsafe entry, but it wasn't by passing the pace car because he didn't pass, even though it was really close.
Now, do remember that Malechka and Van der Zandt only took fuel because they really hadn't put too much wear into the tires. So it's not an entirely surprising call. Marquez is not falling back as much as I thought he would. So Van der Zandt's back on pit lane. What has happened with Alex Van der Zandt?
I know there was some chatter going on, but he doesn't look like he has a black flag. The problem for Marquez is that
I think I know what happened with Marquez. Passing the pace car while coming down into pit lane. I think that's likely what it was.
I'm going to check it again, but that is a very likable possibility.
We'll see if we can grab a replay for you guys to be able to follow, but Van der Zandt will come on in. We've still got the lights on in the pace car, so at least 1 more lap forthcoming for the drivers. For Marquez,
and
that is a brutal blow.
The problem for Marquez is the thing. He cannot do this in yellow, so he is immediately going to be at least a lap down once this green flag goes on.
So let's watch here. Let's watch here. Up from above, he is at the... it's close. That's close, but I think that's where the penalty has arisen from. I think that's as clear as we're going to get.
It's weird. It's very weird.
And he's coming down to serve the penalty now, I think.
It's insane to think now that Nathan Rees is now back in P2 after all this madness.
After putting it on pole position as well. Incredible. This has been... Yes, we don't like these sort of races where the cautions really interrupt the flow of the race, but it always means that you have to be on your toes, both as a commentator and also as a driver. Lorenzo, you're asking in our iRacing IndyCar community Discord what happened to Marquez. I just showed you what happened to Marquez.
No. It's just I don't know if that it was that or if it was something else because I heard from the chatter.
You don't trust me. Wow.
I do trust. Well, here's the thing. I trust you 98%.
Shaking my head.
But
SMH
that might
my
be the
head.
most likely scenario.
I think that's what's happened, but we're ready to race once more. I've lost track of how many cautions we've seen here today. Under the shadow of the Gateway Arch, we're live from the Worldwide Technology Raceway on the iRacing.com service. Kazuhiro Shiba finds himself in control once more. 80 laps done, 45 to go. We're racing once more. Malechka has already got into the inside of J.W. Miller. Not the first time that Malechka has timed this run, but Miller gets sent up the track.
And he timed it to perfection, just stay the inside as well as he could have been before getting, because if you overtake on the inside prior to the start-finish line, you get a black flag penalty for overtaking on the inside. That is illegal. You have to overtake to the outside if you're in the car behind. But now it's simple, perfection from Malechka. Now he's on the charge against Nathan Rees. He's going to get that move. The problem is there's 1.6 seconds that separates Shiba to now Malechka.
There is Marquez eating that penalty, rolling himself down pit lane. Might be day done for him as well, given that that penalty is going to cost him not 1, but maybe 2 laps here at this 1.25 mile facility. Malechka charges his way to the inside of Isaac Snyder in that lapped car. He's up to second, 1.6 back from Kazuhiro Shiba. I don't think the work is done. There is a long way to go. Let's also track the progress of his teammate Alexander Van der Sant, who came down to pit road 1 additional time. I just wonder if maybe there was a bit of a mix-up there and Van der Sant didn't get the service needed in the first stop. It's something that we saw yesterday in the 24-hour esports series. Van der Sant will get past Simonio. Meanwhile, we watch as Rashad Craig sees in front of him Matt Holloway, Laura Gerhardt, and J.W. Miller all in a line.
Yeah, the 2 biggest movers in the season so far, in this race so far. Holloway probably had a small issue, nearly crashing with Rashad Craig. And now J.W. Miller is going to make the move on Isaac Snyder on the outside, probably going to clear himself out of the back marker, but that brings everybody else.
Look at this. 2 wide, 2 rows deep as they run themselves down into turn 3. J.W. Miller doing a good job on slightly older rubber to hold off the challenge from the power slide driver Laura Gerhardt behind. In towards turn 1, Rashad Craig has the inside line on Isaac Snyder, the car that is 1 lap down, 25, whittled to 19 still running. 3 of them not on the lead lap. Isaac Snyder 4 laps adrift from the rest of the field. Here comes the charge from Alexander Van der Sant, by the way, who get past Oren Laskin. He's now up into 11th, searching for a top 10. David Porcelli will get passed around the outside by Matt Holloway.
Yeah, Matt actually managed to defend his position because he got blocked by Isaac Snyder on the exit of turn number 1. Porcelli tried to sneak it in, just couldn't get it on turn number 3, and now was able to fight back, and now Merrick Quarry's going to face a similar situation to Hollyball.
We watch though as Rashad Craig looks to the inside. J.W. Miller will slide on past. Then you see Porcelli giving a bit of draft to Isaac Snyder. That's not going to help out that orange 11 machine. Remember, 11 degrees of banking on one side of the speedway. The returns 3 and 4 slightly flatter. Looking at 9 degrees of banking. Lap times, if you're curious, in the real world, the lap record is a 23.72. Our fastest lap of the race is in the 25.3s, partially, I think, because of the warm track temperatures that we are seeing today. Here comes Van der Sant to the inside of Snyder, trying to close up bit by bit to Aaron McCorry in front of him. Meanwhile, battle for the final step of the podium is intensifying. Will Lyon in that orange and blue Indy Alliance car steals away third from Nathan Rees.
Yeah, stole away from the SCOWRS driver. Now Will moving into P3 again. The Indy Alliance having a stellar season so far, especially on the road side, and going up 1 spot. But then again, the difference of the tires here, June, is what is making the difference in this race. 26 laps for Nathan Rees, 12 laps for Will Lyon. He came down on the last yellow flag, and that difference is paying off for the British driver.
Across the line, 90 laps done. And we're actually getting a decent chunk of a run here. It won't lead to a green flag pit stop. It will lead to the checkered flag if we hold as we are. 35 to go. 2/10 the gap out front. Back for 7th. Matt Holloway straddles the curve. That was risky, but it's worked out nicely. Has gone past J.W. Miller, and Kazuhiro Shiba is now being passed by Malechka for first. Malechka is back to the front. Clean air on the nose of his car. He won't be looking in his mirrors at all. He's looking forward to the clean air.
He doesn't even care about it. Clean air is your best friend right here. The Japanese is going to try to fight back, but the difference of the tires is way too much. It's basically the double of the laps that Malechka has on his stint right now. 29 versus 14 at the current moment. 15 at the current moment.
Good point from Evan Adams that the track might be a little bit more abrasive given the scan that we've got right now. Kind of the opposite to Iowa, where the scan that we have is a lot more grippy, less abrasive than the version in real life. Yellow flag is out, and why are we slowing things down? Christian Macarelli, Olivia Simonio I think came to blows with one another. Macrelli might have got the worst of it.
Yeah, we're going to look on the replay of what happened over here, but we've reset the strategy button once more here, Arjuna.
I think now, though, the strategy is pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
I think everyone is probably good on fuel, and that's what happened. Andrew Marquez might have been mixed up in that one. Take one more look. It's Simonio in the 17 that, just runs up the track, and I think might have knocked down the wall. Andrew Marquez probably had a pretty good view of the action, so let's jump on board with a number 2 car. The New York native sees Simonio there. Oh, there's a lot.
Nice avoidance.
There's a lot of air between those cars there. There's not much that either one could really do in that situation.
No, not at all. Good avoidance from the Alkintech simulation driver right there. That was as well as you could have avoided the crash that was right in front of you.
Now I'm trying to figure out how many yellow flags that we've got, because I really stopped keeping count a while back. I think we might have hit the magic 8. Magic 8 count.
I'm starting to think it is 8 yellow flags as well.
Well, Van der Sande has come down to pit once more. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Fuel strategy, maybe reset everything. Nothing makes sense in this race anymore.
Well, again, no fuel. I think he's just taking tires.
Makes sense.
I don't know why, though, because all he's done is put himself back into 12th. He was up around 7th, 8th in that kind of ballpark. We'll see. Speaking of ballpark, let's go back to the conversation that we were having yesterday, Lorenzo. What a segue. 10 out of 10 commentator. Oh, minor league baseball teams have some of the best names in the world. The Rocket City Trash Pandas, I think that's what they were called. That is a 10 out of 10 name. The Savannah Bananas, another 10 out of 10 names. The Gwinnett Stripers, that's also a 10 out of 10 name. There are some great ones. There are some fantastic ones.
Yeah, I'm just opening, like, the best thing is that it's just not one level of minor leagues. The best thing about the American baseball is that you guys have not one A. It's like rookies, amateurs, single A something, single A maybe another thing, double A, triple A, then you have the major league. So you have like 32 teams in the major league, so multiply that by 32 in every single one. You got hundreds and hundreds of teams with good names.
I would highly recommend you do go and search the Gwinnett. The Savannah Bananas, because that is a mean old one. You're watching it right now. You're seeing it.
I'm just laughing, Arjuna, because Rob is complaining that we're talking about minor league baseball on broadcast.
Oh, he's doing it in the voice chat in session.
He's doing it in the voice chat.
Rob, I see that you're also in our YouTube chat. Focus on the race, please.
Yeah, please.
Mind your P's and Q's. Okay, by the way, from Alex Van der Sande, similar to what we saw yesterday in that Neo Endurance, the 24-hour esports series race, Lorenzo, sounds like Alexander Van der Sande didn't get fuel or tires in his last major pit stop.
Yeah, it's weird that this is it's becoming a thing, right? And it's becoming frequent. I think you even had that on the Bathurst 24 of sorts.
Bathurst 24?
Bathurst 12.
Wow, you're creating...
I've been affected with the wheels, just staying way too long and commentating for way too long.
Yeah, you're just creating new races right now. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I would approve of Bathurst 24.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Look at how many cars finished Saturday's race.
Yeah, I would just say, like, that it would have been, I don't know if that would create a more safe race.
No, it wouldn't.
But anyway, let's focus on the restart.
It's Bathurst. We know what's going to happen. Max Verstappen and Josh Rogers will come to blow once more. But you're right, we are ready to get back racing. 8 cautions in 97 laps. 28 to go when we get back to the green. Can we reach the checkered as the next flag? Robert Malechka will be hoping so because he's in the front. He's in control of the restart. We're racing once more at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Will Line straight on the offensive as he tries to look to the inside of Kazuhiro Shiba. Won't commit just yet. Matt Hollabo gets in front of Laura Gerhard on this restart, but Gerhard will power around the outside in that green and white car. Good clean restart. Alexander Van der Sat already getting into the action.
Yeah, he's already going into the action, Malechka. But the thing is, and Venderson as well, they're trying to go for it. And McQuarrie, I think, is trying to follow the best he can, Venderson.
27 to go. Macrelli gets in front of Playar for 15th spot. Van der Sat said he might have had a bit of front wing damage as well. Let's see if the performance from that number 3 car will pick up from where he's sitting on the outside of the top 10. Meanwhile, already running away. 7/10 clear is Rob Malechka in that one car. Kazuhiro Shiba feeling the pressure from Will Line, but don't count out Nathan Rees. Rashad Craig right behind them. There is some separation, though, to Laura Gerhard, but it's only about 5 or 6 car lengths as they come down into turn number 3.
And I'm looking at Dennis Pleer's car is looking a little bit more going through the waters as he spins around. Are we going to get another yellow flag as he's on the back straight on the grass?
No, he's to the inside. That should be okay, but here will come the leader. Puff of smoke, but we're still green here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Hopefully not going to be too much drama from the car that is spun around. Back to Nathan Rees as he's got Will Line in front. He's got Rashad Craig behind. This is where the action will likely be as they duck and dive searching for the draft.
Yeah, and that draft is going to be really important whenever you come into the back stretch. But good battle so far. As looking at the replay to see what happened to Jason Dennis Pleer on the back straight, just losing like everybody else. Similar situation like everybody else as Rashad Craig's trying to go up against Will Lyon. I'm sorry, Nathan Rees looks like.
You're looking the wrong way around on the timing screen. Van der Sat has got past David Porcelli for 9th. He's now in with a shot of maybe getting a top 6. I think that is likely going to be the scale of the ambition that we might see from Van der Sat, who we will see on the bottom of the screen now, has actually got in front of J.W. Miller. Next car in line will be Matt Hollabo. There's 4/10 to close, though, so that's going to take some time. That's not going to be instant. Laura Gerhard, the fellow power slide driver, will be mixed in that one as well. Malechka has waved goodbye. He's 1.6 seconds clear.
He's 1.6 seconds clear. I'm going to be a little bit more bold. I wouldn't say top 6th place would be more realistic. I would definitely say top 5 is going to be more realistic. As Venderson is arguably, and no, not arguably, definitely the quickest car on track right now.
Fresh tires, maybe a wing adjustment as well. That's what they'll do. That's what the changes will do. Chaos, though, for second on back as they work their way through some lap traffic. Kazuhiro Shiba has been lapped, or rather passed, by Will Line. Still more traffic. Christian Macrelli blocks the run of Rashad Craig. 3 wide as they exit turn number 3. Craig trying to slot in front of another lapped car. That's all just kicking off, and Alexander Van der Sat has found himself in 6th spot.
That is insane to think about, as McCrowley, Marquez, and I think one more car had issues. Yellow flag.
Oh, well, it was getting a bit too fun. It seems like the story of this race is fun is not allowed to be had. McCrory's got a lot of damage to the front wing of his car. Let's pick up what happened here. So it's into turn number 1. Macquarie's on the outside line. Maccarelli is the one who loses it. Now, was there contact? That's the question.
Let's look at the replay because it got feisty for a second right there. Going to turn number 1. Yeah, there has to be contact. Oh! That hurts.
Yeah, that's a big one. And there was some contact there. Looks like it was with J.W. Miller, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So a bit more chaos, a bit more drama. Don't think you'll see many cars come down and pit. If any, it's not worth the risk as we get towards... It'll be 16 to go when we come back to green, somewhere around there.
Something like it. I would estimate this might be 15 to go, I think.
Might be 18 this time by. If we don't see cars pitting, it'll be okay. Do remember as well that if we get a caution within 10 to go, cars that are lapped and in the pack will be cycled back. It won't happen on this restart. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I don't think this is over. 9 cautions. I think we'll hit the magic 10.
Just one quick thing. Rob, if you're listening to us, you probably are. Type it out, the team that you want Arjuna to take a look at on Baseball Plays.
Yes, no. Let us know. Let us know which team has got the best logo. Because if it's got to have a better name than either the Savannah Bananas or the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Savannah Bananas.
Just look at the
like
face.
Social media.
Look at the face on that logo, though. It is one angry sucker. It's a banana that is ready to kill. Sugarland Space Cowboys. That seems fake. That does not seem real.
Sugarland what?
It is a minor league AAA affiliate.
It's a city in Texas.
Well, it's a AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros. So anyway, it gets a thumbs down. Yeah, that's not that's an 8 out of 10 logo. That is not a 10 out of 10 logo.
Yeah, I would say I would go as low as 7.5.
Let's go lower. Let's go 7.
Yeah, I agree. 7.
So it's 17 to go. Lights still on the pace car. Yep. So at best, it is going to be 15 to go.
So we're going to get a green flag with 15 to go. It's going to be interesting.
Prediction time. Can anyone... Come on, no. That's not the question I was about to ask. Can anyone...
I'm picking the winner already.
No, but can anyone stop Malechka?
Will Lion. He has same tires, just as many amount of fuel as Malechka does. He had to refuel a little bit more because he was. Let's remember, he was a little bit more on the gallon. Therefore, had to stop for a little bit more on the lane, so conquered some space up. But if there's a guy that I would, if I have to pick right now, that could do really good, it's gonna be him.
That orange and blue car, watch out for it. Question in the chats. Is i5G racing? No, I mentioned this earlier. They're too scared to race on Mondays anymore. And they're also too scared to race at anywhere that's not Indianapolis.
Yeah, and the last driver that decided to race in the season apparently got crashed out by Lorenzo Bonder.
That was fun. That Spa race was actually really cool. No, I thought that Spa race was entertaining.
No, it was entertaining. I liked it. It was fun until it lasted. I couldn't get a single car in the race because Trino kind of admitted that later that the setup that we were running wasn't the best one.
Hashtag you're blaming Trino.
He kind of blames himself too. We chatted privately on Discord.
Well, we're ready to race once more. 9 cautions, 15 laps to go. Can we get to the checkered? Or what is left in store for us here in our virtual race at the Worldwide Technology Raceway? Rob Malechka still in control and racing once more in round 10 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. It's a good launch from Malechka. Has Will Lyon lost the one and only chance, the element of surprise to be able to make the move happen? 6/10 the advantage as they run themselves down into turn number 3. Malechka leads the way.
Malechka leads the way. Meanwhile, Laura Gerhardt didn't have the best start, so Vanderson took opportunity of it. Better tires, better grip. Therefore, into 5th place goes Alex Vanderson.
Don't count out Kazuhiro Shiba, I think, here with, what's it, about 3/10 back. and he's got some clean air in front. We may see him look for a move, but at least for now, the focus goes back to the purple and white. The freshest of the tires, the car that might have tried something different with the wings, slides up the track, gets in front of Nathan Rees. Van der Staten is hunting a podium back in the pack. Here comes Rashad Craig to look past Laura Gerhard.
And he can do it, you know. He has about 13 laps to go, and that is a lot of time. We have about 5 minutes remaining of racing over here. And just to remember, on Season 3 of when I commentated, we had a photo finish. So there is a good chance if these keep going like this, please no yellow flags. I had to say it. No.
Lorenzo is not allowed to ever talk again.
No, man. I'm broke, Arjuna. I'm broke. I don't know.
I am done with Lorenzo and his commentators' curses. Here's a look at what happened. It's between Oren Laskin and is that Jason Wallet? I think Wallet gets through cleanly, and then Oliver Simonio gets clipped by the spinning Oren Laskin. Just jump on board. And I've mentioned this before. If you get on that curbing, you have to be so careful. It just unsettles the car. And once you are in the incident, you are a passenger. There is nothing you can do. Let's ride on board with the Frenchman, Olivier Simonio.
Yeah, Simonio right there. Nothing he could do. He even tried to move to the outside a little bit, try to let the car roll to the outside, but nothing he could do right there.
He got away without damage there. That was a nice little 360 there for him.
I'll give it a 10.
I'd give it a 10 too.
And I'm getting more flack, and I do truly deserve this one. I was bursting in laughter and pain.
Well, now I need to try and clarify with myself if because we had the caution come out before 10 to go, will we not get the cycling of the traffic? Now, I don't think there is much in terms of traffic that would play a factor, but we'll restart likely with 6 to go, Lorenzo?
Yeah.
So 6 to go, I would suspect that we do get the cars cycling on through.
Yeah, if it's gonna be, I think 6 or 7 to go, and the worst thing for now is on Kazuhiro Shiba, is that Van der Staten has better tires than, I would say even worse. I would say for the top 3, because Van der Staten had better tires than everybody else, literally everybody else. I would say even Maletska is not out of the woods on this one. And he's going to hate me because he's watching this.
Adam Blocker jumps in to say we will get the traffic cycling. That's what I thought. But you never know with iRacing. So if there is any lap traffic, we will see. Drop to the back of the field. Adam Blocker, of course, trackside with Ilmor Engineering at the Sebring International Raceway for the test day that's been going on. Felix Rosenquist. No, not Felix Rosenquist, sorry. I'm getting myself all confused. Kevin Magnussen is the name that I think I meant to say. Getting a run with Chip Ganassi Racing. Some new liveries popping up as well. You had Will Power, who people are saying you'll confuse this car with Jack Harvey's car. Of course, it was Alex Rossi, who seems to have a new pink and blue car. Pink and blue itself is not a horrible combination. The pink and blue that they picked just doesn't work that nicely, if you ask me. But I'm also the guy that has about 5 different colors on his IndyCar. I just have a genius in Max Eru who designed it.
I'm okay with that combination. I'm more okay with my pink combination that I did for the Arjuna Appreciation vehicle that Tyler Maxson ran at Watkins Glen. I wish I could have run into Sebring, but I'm not going to be able to, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to let Tyler do the heavy work again.
Wait, you're missing Sebring?
Oh, it pains me to say this. I'm going to miss Sebring because
Wow.
I have commentary duties at the same time.
Wow, I'm disappointed.
You're not disappointed. I'm truly disappointed with myself.
So, 8 to go. One thing I'll note about Sebring is Adam and I have had some fun races at Sebring, but not running the full course. When we had those fun races, we ran not the version that they run in real life testing, where they cut off the main portion of the track, you know, the run through turn one. Yeah, they run the other half, where the hairpin is, for example, where they've got the alternate pit lane. But we ran the one where out of turn one, you cut a hard right, you rejoin on the entry into Le Mans, and then you have this slightly alternate sunset bend. It's a little bit deeper. It's more of a heavy braking zone into a right-hand 90-degree corner that then loops back and rejoins the regular sunset bend, but we will actually be racing at the regular sunset bend this year.
Final restart, here we go.
Final restart, 7 to go. Will the yellow finish the race? Will the checkered finish the race? Will Lyon has to time this restart better because time is running out. Malechka's in control. The caution will come to a close once more. Stacking themselves up. Malechka holds up the field, but we're racing again at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, and Malechka has got the jump. He's running away from the field.
Yeah, what a restart from Malechka right here. Basically left everybody blundered of sorts. So it's going to take basically a lap or a lap and a half for everybody to try to catch up. But with that, it might seal the deal for him to be in the lead of this race. Now the problem becomes, again, will Lyon and Kazuhiro Shiba hold a very feisty Alex van der Sande?
6 to go. This time by the 1.25-mile egg-shaped oval at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. This race is dragged on, the track has cooled down, but if anything, it's going to intensify. Van der Sande sniffing the podium, first is likely out of the equation, but don't count out maybe a second. Matt Holloway has gotten past Nathan Rees just behind these cars, but out of turn 4 one more time, side by side behind them. Van der Sande will try and get the move done. Kazuhiro Shiba goes defensive to the inside.
Yeah, but it ran, I think, in too deep. That might bring Alex van der Sande into the outside. You see a little bit of a draft given by Will Lyon to Shiba, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Alex van der Sande is moving into third place.
Nice little move there as Nathan Rees has held off Holloway, at least for the time being. We're watching up and down as Laura Gerhard really in the middle of the Hornet's Nest. 3 wide across the line, always a dangerous place to be. It is 4 laps to go. Malechka has run away. Van der Sande hunting down Will Lyon, but he's running out of time. He's running out of laps.
He's running out of laps. The gap is 1 second that separates first to third place. Will Lyon's trying to pick up the heat, but Malechka on a charge right now. Even though Will Lyon did the best lap before, and the difference now is marginal between both of them. Once again, only 40 seconds between, or hundreds of a second separates them on this previous lap.
Can also see Laura Gerhard has Rashad Craig right behind her. David Porcelli has been passed by that 7 car who's been up and down through the field. Focused, though, on the battle up front. Van der Sande using that rubber to just arc himself off the corner. Full of momentum and full of confidence in that car. Fed the dirty air by Will Lyon, and they almost touch. 2 laps to go. It's coming down to this.
It's coming down to this. It's going to be really hot. Van der Sande looks on the inside. Can he make the move on the inside? It's going to be a low chance move, but it's doable with that grip.
He's got the rubber advantage, but Will Lyon will have the momentum to cut down back and look to the inside. The orange and blue car fighting to hold on to second. White flag in the air, 1.25 miles to go. Van der Sande uses all 11 degrees of banking and will hold on to second place. What a charge back up through the field from Alexander Van der Sande, but in a race that has been stop and start and stop and start. Robert Malechka has had none of it. A poor qualifying, but a dominant performance to work himself to the front, and he wins round 10 of the iRacing IndyCar Championship here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Wow, what a race. What a really good race we watched. Even though we had a plethora of yellow flags, even though it was one thrown out by me, we got lots of action, especially at the tail end over here with Alex van der Sande's odd strategy with the tires that paid off him at the end of the day and getting second place. I think if you give him 2 or 3 more laps, or if we went to the length that we had on season 3, I would say Robert Malechka would have been in very bad sheets.
Burn the house down, Robert Malechka. Again, qualifying didn't go his way, but it didn't matter. He didn't give up. Even when we thought the strategy wasn't going to work in his favor, he found a way to make it work. And now Doesn't matter if you damage that car, Rob. You have won this race. Oh, that was a little bit chaotic. Just a little bit chaotic, to put it mildly. Let's turn our attention to our race result. 125 laps later, it's a power slide 1 and 2. Robert Malechka leading the way from Alexander Van der Sant. Will Lyon will come home in a very impressive third for the Indy Alliance program, while Kazuhiro Shiba, very interesting strategy. He qualified quite well. He stays where he qualified, though. What more could he have had? Nathan Rees put in on pole position for the Scorers team. Unfortunately for him, drops down to 5th. That car just not having the same pace on the long run as it did on a one-lap timesheet, while Matt Hollibo, Rashad Craig, Laura Gerhard, David Porcelli, and J.W. Miller complete the top 10. Laura Gerhard, one of the biggest movers, with 8 positions gained. Then down in 11th, Jason Wallet, one of the last cars on the lead lap, with Oliver Simonio. 9 positions gained for him, the biggest mover of the day. In fact, no, that's not true, because Robin Glennix is +2, but Christian Macarelli is +11. Cars making it to the end. Aaron McCrory, Isaac Snyder, and Dennis Pliar also made it to the checkered, while Oren Laskin, Andrew Marquez, Seb Alexander, just some of the cars in the garage area here after retiring from this race. And in the big 25-car field, Scott Reliart, Tommy Donahue, Camille Caitan, Michael O'Brien, and Pablo Rangel complete the rest of the drivers not making it to the checkered flag. Was a hectic race, but it's still a fun race. You sometimes want green flag pit stops to come out and interrupt the party, but unfortunately today that was not the case. Every single trip down pit lane for fuel, for tires, was made under the caution. Let's turn our attention, though, into Wars Victory Lane, where we are now joined by Robert Malechka. And Robert, what a race that was. What a crazy race that was. It's always hard for you as a driver, though, when it's stop and start like that.
Yeah, that was, strategy-wise, that was a pretty difficult race. You know, we knew we could only go roughly 50, 52 laps on a tank of fuel, but with how the yellows were falling, we weren't sure really when to come in for that last stop. I think we came in with 65 to 70 to go. We were thinking like maybe we can make it, but there's no way. So Alex and I both pitted there to take fuel only and at least get track position on the guys that were ahead of us. But also the track conditions were changing significantly. So I'm pretty sure everyone in the whole field was basically wrecking loose that whole race. But I'll somehow came out on top, and we'll take the win for power slide.
So what happened in qualifying then? Not easy for either of the power slide cars at the front.
We just focused on race trim basically the whole time. That's about it. I think qualifying is at least not my strength here. We were actually pretty happy with 6th and 8th. So we knew we had a really good race car in our hands, and worked out for us in the end.
Couple of races to go in this season, but of course tomorrow your attention is going to be focused on the Indy Elite Series as they go racing at, I believe it's Kentucky. It's a busy time for you. You've got this, you've got Indy Elite, and you've got Lionheart coming up as well. How do you balance all of that, as well as going and having some fun in the Indy Fix Series, where you've recently hit 7,000 iRating?
Yeah, recently 7K. I'm coming for you, Demerit. I'm going to beat you. Lionheart's usually pretty easy. You only need about, they do practice races and all of that throughout the weekend. So those are pretty easy to get a grasp of. But at least for open, a lot of tracks that I've never ran at, especially Sebring. I believe we're going there. So looking forward to that. I hear only good things about the track. That's about it.
Congratulations, Rob. See you in 7 days' time from the Sebring International Raceway.
Thank you, Arjun.
So that was Robert Malechka, who was not just chatting to us post-race, but was leaping into the YouTube chat to keep us entertained during the race itself. Someone that had to really focus up, though, was Alexander Van der Sant. A little bit of an issue in pit road, meant no tires, no fuel went into that car. He had to fight his way up through the field. Ultimately, second place for you, though, Alex.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take that. That was a tough race. When Rob and I pit with like 50 to go, we were just going to top off and not take tires. All I got was a wing adjustment, though. It didn't give me fuel, so I decided to just come back in, take tires, and see what I could do from there. and it worked so well the first time, I decided to do it again, and yeah, definitely profited from that. So painful race with all the cautions, but had a lot of fun driving up through the field at the end there.
Now, I asked Rob about the qualifying. I want to talk to you about Dirty Air because he said you worked a lot on the race trim. How did you find that car when you were on similar tires to those around you? Did all of that effort pay off?
It definitely did, yeah. We had decent balance in Dirty Air. In Clean Air, we were struggling with really loose conditions, so we were playing around a lot with the wing in the pit stops that we had. But that was a tough balance to find, because if you got a caution and had to pit again and be put back in the pack, like, you just didn't know how the car was going to react again if you took a bunch of wing out. So, yeah, balance overall was decent, and that was definitely what let me drive through the field. I could put the car pretty much anywhere on the track and still have speed and carry a lot of momentum. So that was fun. Thank you to Hugo Olsen. He helped us a ton with the race setup, and yeah, we wouldn't have been able to have this result without him.
And it's not been an easy couple of weeks for you, Alex. I won't touch too much on what happened at Bathurst, but regardless of that,
yeah,
you've had the pace this year, but you've just not always been able to convert the pace into results. This shows that even when the chips don't fall your way, you're able to scramble something from absolute chaos. This must be a good mental boost for you.
Oh, it absolutely is, and I've known all season I have the pace, and I've improved a lot even just from the start of this year. It's just these little mistakes bite me. Trying to minimize them, I mean, I don't want to say I am minimizing them right now because they've seemed to happen more often in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But hopefully it's a phase, and I'll cycle through it and be able to learn from them more.
Well, congratulations, Alex, on the drive, and hopefully we'll see you 7 days from now at the bumpy Sebring International Raceway.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
So, no interview from Will Lyons, so that's going to wrap up our post-race interviews, the top two joining us, and we are very grateful for their time. Like I said, 7 days from now, February 21st, we are going to be racing from the bumps of the Sebring International Raceway. There's 3 words that you use when you describe Sebring. It's not really describe Sebring, it's describe the mentality at Sebring, Lorenzo. Respect the bumps.
Respect the bumps, respect the concrete, and man, I'm bummed that I'm not going to be able to race next week, but it's going to be a great race to watch.
And, I mean, it's the kind of racetrack as well you need the setup to really work with you. You can't survive at Sebring unless you got a setup that is responsive but also minimizes the tire wear.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because I think it's coming to the first race of the IndyCar iRacing series as well. So it's going to be basically how to set your car to this new tire model that we haven't ran before.
Well, it is time to wrap things up then here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. It was an up and down race at times, a bit of a slog, but ultimately it's now Powerslide that have won 9 in a row here on a Monday night. Can only be so biased, I guess, when there's only one Powerslide member in the commentary booth. Next week, Andrew Kinsella will return as we have 2 rounds of this championship left. For now, though, it is time to say goodbye on behalf of our partners at RaceSpotTV, Dougie Beard, ATVO, and Timing 71, powering everything behind the scenes. For the entire team at RaceSpot, for my co-commentator Lorenzo Bonder, thank you for joining us. We'll see you in 7 days' time. For now, though, we say goodbye, we say so long, and congratulations to Robert Milechko, winner here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.